Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 4 of Online Karting League Africa. I'm Sean Nopesha. I'll be doing the commentary tonight and the production itself. As per usual, I'm all on my own. It's just worth mentioning, guys, I have been a little bit sick in the last couple of weeks, and with our luck hazard today, my voice is starting to disappear, so let's hope it manages to stay with me during the whole race tonight. We've got a very, very exciting race at Celso Scribante, the track in PE. What a lovely track it is. Our juniors are on display as it stands. We are currently following Caleb Moss, who's just trying to get the last little bit of practice runs in his CRG. He's a local boy to PE, so this should be the guy to beat, in my honest opinion. He's been putting in a lot of laps, so I would believe he would be the guy to beat. Before we get into the qualifying, which is literally a minute and a half away, let's quickly go over to the track map and just quickly discuss the tracks. Ooh, Caleb Moss just flips his card. And we'll just quickly discuss the PE track layout. Right, as you can see, first corner, it's called... Oop, I think it's the wrong way around. All right, the first loop, or second loop, that is, going to Well Bend, then into the first 180s, second 180s. We go out of the 180s, the corner number 8, that is. Then we go into Pit Bend, and then what used to be called the Continental Kink. We'll head over to the Firestone, which is 2 corners essentially, and then that is a lap of PE. What a track. It's not got a lot of elevation, a little bit less than... I think it's even less than Kalani, 1.36 meters worth of elevation. Not a lot at all. This is as flat as it can be. What a lovely track. Very narrow track, only 6 meters wide compared to the standard 8 meters wide tracks that you would have. But this is a fast-flowing track with some very, very hard braking corners, especially those 180s. So let's see what the boys will be able to do on the track. All right, we are currently following Logan Bilal. Oh, I should probably kick us over into qualifying. I'm solo production. Quali now. So just excuse the pop-ups, guys. I am the guy on production and COC and all of those little things tonight. But here we go. Sebastian Venkov quickly going to track, followed by Matteo Mason. Caleb Moss. All the boys are going to try and get out as quickly as possible. Guys, this is a laser scanned PE. Beautiful track, a lot of detail around it. Each little bump on that track is in the simulator. Not that there's a lot of them, to be fair, but yeah, here we go. Hopefully this is going to be a very, very exciting race. I believe it will. Oops, and already we have drivers going straight to who's not supposed to be doing that. Again, the juniors are not well behaved when it comes to the track limits and what they're supposed to do. But here we go. We're going to follow who the guys are racing. And they haven't even started their qualifying laps as of yet. But into the second 180, or out of that little hairpin, that's a potential passing opportunity right there. All right, Sebastian Venkov starts his first lap. That's Firestone, that double right-hander. This is a track that chows your tires. Luckily, the simulator, we don't have that problem. So here we go, Sebastian Venkov. Into the second loop he goes. Out of the second loop, on his way to Well Bend. Corner names provided to me by Clinton Moss, who's of course one of the big boys up at PE track, so he knows everything about the track. So that's at least the names that he could remember, so let's hope he was actually correct about it. If he's not, then that's unfortunate. But here we go. Ooh, I think our sound is quite soft, guys. Is it just me? Let's just bump up the volume a little bit. There we go. That sounds better, at least in my ears. Right, let's see who gets the first laps up and running. Caleb Moss leads the way, a 51.2. Right behind Caleb Moss, the first. Next guy to post the lap is Maddox Mason, the current championship leader. Then Sebastian Ferreira. Hasn't finished the lap yet. Deacon Willifield a second off the pace. Then Jensen Diaz. Already got a pushed back nose cone there. And here comes Matteo Mason. He hasn't finished the lap either. Rafael de Sousa, new to the Online Karting League Africa. This is would be his debut race. I literally jumped onto their PC to get them sorted right before the race. So I'm very happy to see Rafael on here. I don't think he'll have a lot of pace because he hasn't done a lot of practice, but let's see what he manages. And then Logan Bilal back at the race. I believe he missed the last race due to either it was holidays or travels, but either or, he wasn't there. Sebastian Venkov still trying to catch. OKLA Moss seems to be very sneaky. He seems to be just using a nice little toe of Venkov. It would easily gain him a 10th or 2. Oh no, but that is the problem when you follow somebody and he gets a little bit pear-shaped on the track. Hey guys, can you use the YouTube chat function? Everything sounding okay? Apart from my voice that's clearly disappearing while I'm talking. I'm just happy I'm still able to talk. Yesterday I was horribly sick. Today I'm feeling better, so at least I'll be able to do commentary. Deacon Willifeer trying to post a good lap. Deacon had a very good race last time around. I think it was the overall winner, if I'm correct, after the penalty received by Maddox Mason. So Deacon is definitely one to watch out in his Formula K kart. Deacon, of course, doing the 4-stroke series up in Gauteng side. So he's one of the... Oops, there's karts all over the place. He's one of the 4-stroke guys. Everybody else, I believe, does 2-stroke. Why am I sick? Yeah, that's what happens when you have kids, my friend. They will always bring the illnesses they pick up from their schools back home. So unfortunately, I was an innocent bystander. Let's see what the boys can post. Nobody's been able to get near to Caleb Moss. And if I'm 100% honest, pretty much expected. Caleb Moss, local boy to PE, so you would expect him to be very quick. He knows each little trick around this track. And then obviously his fellow teammates from RKT, Mateo Mason and Maddox Mason, you would expect them to be up there as well. These guys are, all three of them are very, very quick. Mateo Mason actually raced at the Western Province, or the, yeah, Kalani National Regional last weekend. In the rain, he had a clean sweep of wins. I was there for a very, very short moment just to drop something off, and I watched this race on my way out, and yeah, very, very quick. So let's see if Mateo can be up there tonight. He is the defending champion. On down the inside goes Sebastian Ferreira, racing in the qualifying session. Not ideal. Definitely not the quickest way around there if you're going to battle people. Right, 4 minutes to go. Following Maddox Mason, let's have a look who else. Oh, there's a battle on track between Mateo, Sebastian Ferreira, that is, and then well, he just moves out of the way, letting Deacon Willifeer and Sebastian Ferreira get past. I have to say Sebastian Ferreira, otherwise, if I say Sebastian, we won't necessarily know if it's Venkov or Ferreira. So there we go, Jensen Diaz, young Jensen Diaz, brother of Sebastian Diaz, the younger brother, of course. Sporting the OKLA livery there. That's the base livery that we released with this body kit for guys to use if they don't have a team livery that they're using. And Jensen decided to represent the OKLA livery. So thank you, Jensen. Logan Bilal trying to get some lap times in. The guys have 3 minutes 20 seconds to post their best lap. Still leading the way. Maddox Mason did get a little bit closer to Caleb Moss, but still not close enough to challenge for the victory. Let's hope the kids manages to get the starting procedure right, because that's going to be a challenge. It is worth noting that the guys start essentially on the back straight, and not where the timing loop, that yellow line on your screen is where the timing loop is, but the start is on the opposite side. We're going to get there now. I'll just show you guys. This is where the boys will start, where Sebastian Venkov is driving now, and then they'll go straight, like Caleb Moss just and Mateo Mason just showed us there. Because that's how the starting procedure works at PE, or Celso Scribante. And then the second lap onwards, they'll turn right into the loop, as it's called. So let's hope the boys actually do it right. It was explained to them in the driver's briefing, so I really hope they follow that. And most of these kids have raced there in real life, so they know how the starting procedure works. But there are still a couple guys that have never seen this track and never had the privilege to race in this absolutely amazing track. It's such an awesome track. The only thing I wish is that they would resurface this track, because the tarmac that's laid down on this thing is... Look, all kids love racing here, but the parents absolutely hate it. Just because they have to spend thousands of rands on a race weekend just on tires. It's not ideal at all. Rafael de Sousa making his debut. Trying to get a good lap in. He's still 1.5 seconds off. It's not too bad, to be fair. Over 51 seconds. Yes, it is actually a big margin, but for somebody that's literally hopped in and trying to get going, I wouldn't say that's too bad at all. And we have seen that the boys flip their carts fairly easy. So let's just hope they keep it going. See if we can do it on board. Oops, that's not the camera I was looking for. That's actually the camera I was looking for. Alright, so we're following Caleb Moss for onboard here, as he shows us how to drive Celso Scribante in the correct way. Slams the brakes into the 180s, trying to keep all the momentum. Second 180s he goes. Oh, he bogged down properly there. That's a lot of momentum. That's definitely not going to be a good lap. Into the left-hander we go. Try and run nice and wide there. And then this corner here is very difficult. If you run too wide, you touch that outside curb, that rubber strip, the PVC strip. Your car just takes you on a spin fest. So here we go. Then the right-handers. This. Oh, and as I said, you know, if you touch the curbs, that's the end of your session. Let's follow Maddox Mason, current championship leader as it stands. Maddox starting his final qualifying lap. Into the second loop he goes. It's literally just called second loop, so the two corners in here is called the second loop. And then a corner that's not a corner, flat out, lifts up, doesn't use the brakes, just lift and turn right into Wellbend, then into the first 180s. Second 180. This is definitely, oh, another cart flipped. Stay off the curbs, boys, and there we go. It is unfortunate that the carts flip so easily, the juniors. It's not ideal at all. But there we go, everybody finishing their qualifying. Only one cart on track still finishing a lap, I believe, and that would be Sebastian Ferreira. No, Ferreira's not doing a lap. Alright, guys, let's have a quick look at the qualifying classification. Fly high. Yeah, the boys were flipping it. But here we go. Caleb Moss taking pole position with a 50.056, and then very close to just under 2 tenths behind. 51.256 that is literally 2 tenths, even though it says 199 there. That doesn't make sense. So 2 tenths behind is Maddox Mason. So that's the front row done and dusted. Sebastian Venkov, just a couple milliseconds behind Maddox. Then Deacon Olivier in 4th, Sebastian Ferreira 5th. Mateo Mason out of place again in this qualifying. Unfortunately, I know Mateo has been practicing a different track because he's flying for some international duties. So he's arrive and drive tonight. So unfortunately, that shows with where he's qualified. Then Logan Bilal in 7th, Rafael de Sousa in 8th, and then Jensen Diaz at the back of the pack in 9th place. But as we all know, it's not only about how you start or where you qualify, it's just finishing the race. That's a challenge already. Let's hope. Let's hope all the boys keep it on the track. We are now waiting for them to get going. It's a starting procedure. Who are we waiting for? Everybody's on. I'm just quickly checking the ping. Everybody seems good. It seems stable. Start sequence. Here we go, guys. This is the start of the race. And it's lights out and away we go. Some guys still sleeping on the grid, but there we go. Let's hope everybody goes straight like they are supposed to. Fantastic stuff there by the boys, going straight on into Wellbend. Matteo Mason leading the way. Nope, I'm lying. Somebody's before him. Maddox Mason. Caleb Moss was sleeping, but it's Matteo Mason with the absolute belter of a start. Oh my word, he went from, what was that, 5th, 6th place up into 2nd in literally one straight. So fantastic start there. We've got 2 carts off the track. Oh, it's Logan Bilal stuck on a curb and Rafael de Sousa stuck on a curb. Boys, use your push buttons and get yourself off of there. But let's follow the battle here between the 3 RKT boys currently. 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Caleb Moss sending it down the inside of Matteo Mason. The boys are pushing each other. Sidepod shuffles is what we are seeing. Get off of each other, guys. Oh, wow. That's the very unfortunate bit. If your sidepods get stuck. That's Caleb Moss. But the very unfortunate scenario there between Matteo and Caleb Moss. What's happening here? Why is the timing sheet showing? Oh, it will update after this first official lap, actually. So the first lap essentially only finishes now because of the timing loop. Here we go. Maddox Mason leading the way. Let's follow Deacon Willifield in 2nd place. Then Jensen Diaz in 3rd. Oh, Maddox Mason flipped his kart and he's out of the race. Out of the pre-final. Before finishing the first official lap. Deacon Willifield leading with Jensen Diaz in 2nd place. Then Caleb Moss finds himself up into 3rd. Matteo Mason in 4th. Then Sebastian Venkov. Sebastian Ferreira. Already 2 retired carts. Is Logan Bilal still on track? Yes, he is. Alright, fantastic. That's very unfortunate. 2 guys out of the race already. Like we said, keep it off the curbs and you'll stay in the race. But here we go. Deacon Willifield leading the way. Jensen Diaz being hunted by Caleb Moss, who's surely going to send it into... oh, Caleb Moss getting all over the curb there. And then unfortunately clipping Jensen Diaz in the process. But that leaves the door open for Matteo Mason to get down the road and run away and try and catch Deacon Willifield, who kept it clean into the first couple laps. And he's now got the biggest of gaps. 7 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd. Caleb Moss has not had the best start to the race after qualifying pole position. Found himself, their side pods seemed like they were like 2 magnets getting sucked in towards each other between Caleb and Matteo, which is very unfortunate when this actually does happen. But yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. Caleb Moss and Jensen Diaz. Caleb's going to send it down the inside. Jensen's going to leave the door open for him to just get past. And there we go. Caleb Moss finds himself up into 2nd place. No, 3rd place, I'm lying. Matteo Mason is in 2nd. And then we've got Deacon Willifield right up in front. Deacon Willifield sporting his own helmet and suit. And then he obviously drives a Formula K in real life. So Deacon Willifield is fully kitted with his actual setup. So I'm fairly certain he's absolutely loving driving like this. It is worth noting that the pre-final doesn't count for anything other than a grid position. In the division races, only your final counts towards your championship. So Deacon Willifield is all about keeping it clean, getting the best possible position, and try and run away with the final to get the maximum points and get his title chase officially on the hunt. And we've got Matteo Mason and Caleb Moss having a battle. Again, these guys are getting too close to each other now. Then Sebastian Ferreira and Sebastian Venkov. So it's the battle of Sebastians. Seb S versus Seb F versus Seb V. So let's see. Sebastian Venkov is going to come down the inside of Ferreira. Nope, he's not. Yes, he is actually, because Ferreira leaves the door open. Venkov was like, thank you so much for that. I'm out of here. However, it does seem like Ferreira's not letting Venkov get away from him. So let's see, but I am just looking at the monitor here and I can see a very close battle between Moss and Mason already brewing up here. Nope, as I go away, there's a side pod shuffles between Venkov and Ferreira. Ferreira forfeits that position, and he flips his kart, lands on his wheels, the perfect kickflip. Very lucky, to be honest, to land on his wheels and just get going. Only lost about, what, 3-4 seconds there, so Venkov lives to fight another day. At the back of the remaining karts is Logan Bilal. Unfortunately, I think he was stuck on the curb with young Rafael. Celso didn't manage to get his kart off the grid, or off of the curb rather. Just having a quick look, we are still... Oh, Caleb Moss manages to get past Matteo Mason, so Caleb Moss is going to try and hunt down, and I think that would be way too big of an ask, Deacon Olivier, who's leading the way there. Jensen Diaz flipped his kart and he's out of the race now as well. But it is all about Deacon Olivier. Got the perfect start, kept it clean. Everybody took care of themselves in front of Deacon Olivier, and he's just been leading the way very comfortably. Sorry about that, guys. I have to mute. The illness is still getting the better of me, yeah? So just have to mute to take care of business. 2 more laps to go, or actually, yeah, 2 more laps to go. Deacon Olivier finishes lap 7. Now on to lap 8, and then the final lap. So 2 more laps to go. Olivier leading the way from Caleb Moss, from Matteo Mason, then Sebastian Ferreira, then Sebastian Venkov, Logan Bilal, and then, yeah, that's it actually. We've got 3 retired karts, so only 6 karts remaining. If you get onto the curbs, you will flip it. I did warn the kids on the driver's briefing, please stay off of the curbs. Not ideal to drive like that. I think let's do an onboard with Deacon Olivier as he is going to start his final lap. Right, Deacon Olivier is going to take us home with the onboard. Into Firestone we go. Oh, getting a little bit pear-shaped there on the exit. Then into the second loop we go. Just keep it nice and clean. And now we go into the 180s. That definitely wasn't the ideal entry into the corner, but Deacon's got such a big gap. Keep it clean, Deacon. You don't want to be throwing away your pole position for the final. Right, Deacon Olivier taking pole position for first place, which sets him pole position. Then Caleb Moss in second place, Matteo Mason in third. Then Venkov manages to get past Ferreira. I think Ferreira had a big moment then on track. And then Logan Bilal be the last one to finish. Just gonna let Logan Bilal finish his race. And then we're going to get into the final just like that. It's over and done with. Pre-final done and dusted. I think all of the boys on the grid already raced here. And oh, actually, when I said the only F400 driver, I believe Venkov is also a F400 driver. He drives for the Father and Sons team, right? So just 2 4-stroke drivers. Deacon Olivier and Sebastian Venkov. And then everybody else here would have raced on PE before, apart from Jensen Diaz at the Nationals earlier this year for Rock. So Caleb Moss, Matteo Mason, Sebastian Ferreira, Logan Bilal, Maddox Mason, and I'm not 100% sure about Rafael de Sousa. But everybody else definitely raced at the Rock Nationals at PE earlier this year. I know that because I was there. The OKLA Racing Rigs promoting what we do. And on that note, guys, if you want to get involved, please go over to aaoesports.com, sign up, get involved with what we do, and enjoy the local tracks. We are currently busy with the East London track. We just got the laser scan data in our software today, up and running, so we are now starting to build the East London karting track, which is our last track on the list for South Africa as priority. There is still one more track available, which is Polokwane. I believe the 4-stroke guys go there every so often and race there, but the 2-stroke karting scene doesn't race there at all. So we're going to try and get that track, but it's definitely not on top of our priority list for now. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the starting grid. Somebody got a cutting there. Logan Bilal, 3 seconds penalty. That wouldn't have made a difference. Right, let's have a quick look. Pre-final, Deacon Willifeer took the first slot. Caleb Moss in second place, so that puts Deacon Willifeer and Caleb Moss on the front row. Second row, Matteo Mason and Sebastian Venkov. Then in the third row will be Sebastian Ferreira and Logan Bilal. And then the fourth row will be Jensen Diaz and Maddox Mason. And then at the back, in ninth place, will be Rafael de Sousa. We are only waiting for one more kart. I can see there's a little gap there. One more kart to join the grid, and then we can get going into the final. 13-lap final. This is where it counts, boys. This is this little boykies needs to just keep it nice and clean. Keep it on the black stuff. Stay off of the curbs, and they should be good to finish the full 13 laps and score themselves some good points for the championship. What's on offer for the champion? Each champion gets a very big hamper sponsored by Logitech G in South Africa. Before we continue with that, this is the start sequence, guys. We're going to get going into this. Alright, it's green light, and Caleb Moss sleeping again on the grid, falling back once again. Deacon Willifeer gets away very well, but now it's crazy stuff between Venkov, Moss. Logan Bilal gets all the way up, sending it down the inside of Venkov, pushing him out wide. Then Sebastian Ferreira pounces on that opportunity. Into the 180s we go. Just going up further there. Caleb Moss really trying to get himself past. Oh, Deacon Willifeer flips his cart out of the final already. Into the second 180s. Deacon Willifeer flips after leading. And then there's carnage at the back here. Chaos all over the show. Deacon Willifeer, heartbreak moments there. Rafael de Sousa moves himself up into 4th place. Then Matteo Mason fell back quite a lot. I think Matteo just takes it easy on the start. Seems like it's too much chaos. He kind of tries to keep it clean. And then Maddox Mason is going to send it down the inside of his brother. Move himself up a position. Matteo getting pear-shaped there. Venkov going down the inside. Caleb Moss leading the way from Logan Bilal up into 2nd place. What a start from Logan Bilal. It is worth noting, guys, all these guys on the grid are aged between 12 years and I think the youngest one at the moment is 6 or 7 years old. Jensen Diaz might have already turned 7. Or Rafael de Sousa pushing Jensen Diaz wide there and opens the door for Venkov to just get a maneuver there through between these two guys and move himself up into 2nd place. I see Cart 301 was sideways here on the back. That's Matteo Mason. It's not going well for Matteo Mason at all. Maddox Mason now coming up to Jensen Diaz. Into Wellbend we go. Jensen keeping wide. Jensen stays. He's very clever in that regard. He just lets the guys come past. He knows it's quicker than him. He's a youngster and he's keeping his head clean. He just wants to finish the race. And when he finishes the race, he scores well because everybody else makes their mistakes, pushing too hard. And Jensen Diaz just keeping it clean, gets himself up into good finishing or point finishing positions. Caleb Moss leading the way. Local Boyki, unfortunately, Deacon Willifeer flipped into the 180s on lap 1 and took himself out of contention for mega points today. And that is absolute heartbreak for Deacon Willifeer, but opens up the door for Caleb Moss. to score big points today. And you know what, to be fair, Caleb Moss seems like he was the quickest from the get-go in any case. So it was going to be all about would Deacon Olivier or anybody else be able to defend from Moss, and who could potentially be the, on the top step here if he keeps his cart clean, that is. And still behind him, Logan Bilal. What a great start from Logan Bilal. Was essentially almost at the back of the grid. Where was he? I think it was 6th or 7th in the start of the race, and he finds himself up into 2nd place. And it seems like he's holding his pace, which is good, but that was, what, a 2nd gap built between Moss and Logan. So Moss at the moment on a league of his own. Then Sebastian Ferreira currently in 3rd place. Maddox Mason, the current championship leader, is trying to hunt down Ferreira and get back some points. Crucial points to keep his championship fight alive. Maddox Mason, of course, wants to take the championship away from his brother, who's the defending champ and already out of... Where's Mateo? Oh, Mateo and Caleb Moss collided there. What just happened? Now Caleb Moss is stuck on the side of the track, which takes him out of the race, unfortunately. So the leader collided with a back marker, and out of the race is Caleb Moss. What on earth happened there? That essentially just handed pole position or the leading spot to Logan Bilal. Young Logan Bilal leading the way at PE at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, Logan Bilal was very quick here on at the Rock Nationals. I think it was in Kid Rock. So there we go, Logan Bilal leading the way from Sebastian Ferreira, and then Maddox Mason has a good opportunity to get himself up into 2nd place and score good points. Maddox Mason touching that curb on the outside, not ideal. Absolute heartbreak for Caleb Moss, who's now literally just sitting there against a tire barrier and just looking at his hopes and dreams disappear lap by lap as the guys pass him and lap him and lap him and lap him. That's very unfortunate for Caleb Moss. Seemed to be a clear favorite for this race. Bilal still leading the way. We're just going to follow the battle behind them, Maddox Mason and Ferreira. Let's go on board with Mason. Gap now is 2.1 seconds between 1st and 2nd, and then half a second between 2nd and 3rd. So let's check the gap now, 1.3, 1.8. So Ferreira is catching Bilal at the rate of knots. That was a huge gain, 9/10. The previous lap, that is. So Ferreira and Mason is hunting down poor Logan. We're all over him now. Is Bilal going to be able to cope with all this pressure? Ooh, Maddox, stay off that curb. You don't want to be flipping it here, buddy. Into the 180s we go. Out of the 2nd 180s. Now into this little... It's essentially a hairpin. You lose quite a lot of speed through here. And now Maddox is all over Sebastian Ferreira. What's the gap now? These guys caught up to Bilal. Another 3/10. And it seems like Maddox caught up to Ferreira about, what's that, 2/10 from the previous lap. So, no, I'm lying. That was a lot more. So close as it can be between the top 3. Maddox Mason, Sebastian Ferreira, Logan Bilal, who's going to be able to take the win? Guys, put your prediction in here. Maddox parked it on the side of, or on the entry of the first 180, and it said, you know what, that's the end of my race. Let me have a front row seat of the battle between my brother and then Ferreira and Logan Bilal. trying to follow Ferreira, but it just randomly bounced off of him. Excuse me. I wonder if he's got a little bit of an internet issue. Just a bit of high ping. That seems good. Right, Bilal now. Oh, guys, now Maddox, Mason, Ferreira. Let's go back onto Mason and just follow him helmet cam with this battle as it is brewing between Ferreira and Mason. And Ferreira's catching up to Bilal now. Now it's all between these three guys. 9 laps separates them by only half a second. Down the inside goes Maddox, Mason. Ferreira's going to try and hunt it down the outside. That's definitely not going to work into that corner. Not going to stick it through there. But Ferreira's going to have the slipstream now out of the pit bend. And he should have a mega speed advantage. But this is not the corner where you want to pass. Sebastian Ferreira wise enough to not send it. But he's definitely going to send it into the first corner, is he? No, he's not going to send it down the inside. Just a little bit of a love tap on Mason there. But not too bad. They would live to fight another day. But that gives Logan Bilal just a little bit more breathing room. Now it's all about Bilal trying to keep it clean and stay out of the fight. And Maddox Mason is going to try and get himself up to the front. Maddox Mason after lap 1 was just about at the back of the grid. So if he manages to take this victory, that's a last to first challenge completed by Maddox Mason. But what a story it would be if Logan Bilal wins this race. As it stands, it's going to be a very difficult and tough ask for Bilal to keep. What happened to Maddox? Where's Maddox Mason? He's back. Maddox Mason is back. I'm assuming he had a internet spike there, so his timing didn't pick up there, which is fine. It can be fixed before. It can be fixed when we do the end results by tomorrow or Thursday. So here we go. Maddox Mason is still in the race. So no panic stations there, guys. Ignore what you see on your left-hand side. Maddox is still here. And Logan Bilal ran wide and is out of the lead, going into 3rd place. Now what happened there, Logan Bilal? Loss of concentration. And he took himself out of the leading position. That's heartbreak. There's so much heartbreak tonight, guys. So much heartbreak. All these kids leading the way and getting themselves down a position. Okay, ignore the timing sheet as it says Maddox Mason is currently in 5th place. That is not the truth. Maddox Mason is currently leading the race. It seemed like he had a little bit of an internet spike there and his lap didn't count. But okay, the battle between Bilal and Ferreira still ongoing. But let me tell you, that is absolute heartbreak for Bilal from 1st place, leading most of the race. And if I'm 100% honest, very much unexpected. And Bilal flips his cart as well. So even further heartbreak for Bilal out of the race. And that is his race done and dusted. At least he'll still score points because he finished more than 67% of the race. But it's not the points that he would have wanted, because 5 carts will take a lot of points away from him. Now we start with the last lap on... well, technically the last lap is already started by Maddox Mason. Let me just remind you once again, it did seem like he had a little bit of an issue. Maddox Mason is the guy on the last lap and leading the way. So Maddox Mason from last to 1st, and then having an internet spike and puts him down into 5th, but he's not there. He's clearly leading the race. Into the second 180 as we go. Maddox Mason's going to take us home. He's only got a couple more corners to navigate and hopefully not climb the curbs and flip his cart. So Maddox, please keep it clean, buddy. Stay off the curbs. Maddox Mason taking it slow around the corners, making sure he doesn't flip the cart. Maddox Mason taking the victory, even though it will say Sebastian Ferreira. 2nd place is Sebastian Ferreira. Well done by Seb. Then, am I right in saying that we only have 4 carts finishing the race, which puts Rafael de Sousa in 3rd place? Is that right? An absolute amazing stuff from Rafael de Sousa on his debut race. By keeping the cart on the track, he gets a podium position, and that is 3rd place secured by Rafael de Sousa, and 4th place by a Jensen Diaz Well done, gents. What amazing racing. It's way too much heartbreak for me and for my liking, but that is unfortunately one of those things. And that is the end of the race. As I was saying earlier, guys, what is on offer for these young guys? The champion of each division gets a nice, call it a lucky packet, if you want to, from Logitech G South Africa. It's a Logitech G923 True Force steering wheel. Oop, and we just randomly lost the server there again. That's all right. That's fine. I'll just quickly talk through this. They get a steering wheel, a mouse, a keyboard, a headset, and a mouse pad, all valued at 16,000 Rand in total for these youngsters. That is a big, big price for each of them. And when I talk about mouse, keyboard, headset, those are like the top of the range stuff. It's a 3,000 Rand headset, to 2,500 Rand keyboard, 1,500 Rand mouse, if I'm not mistaken, and like 1,000 Rand mouse pad. It's absolutely amazing stuff by Logitech G South Africa. So thank you to them. Thank you guys for tuning in. That is the end of the juniors race. The server did crash as they finished, which is fine. We have the results. We know where they finished. And we will see you guys at 8 o'clock for the Masters and the Seniors race. I know we scheduled Masters and Seniors separately. There's not enough Masters to compete on their own tonight, so they will be racing with the Seniors. The Masters racing isn't anyways fast enough to race with the Seniors, so we'll see you guys in an hour and 10 minutes time. Please tune in to the live stream, and we will go live for the Seniors and the Masters division. Talk to you soon.